In Australia, voting is mandatory, which means that you have to vote. If you do not vote, then you can be fined. If you have become a new Australian citizen or you're an Australian citizen who's 18 years of age or older, then you will have to enroll to vote. If you are a new citizen, then make sure to enroll to vote within 21 days of becoming eligible. If you are 17 years of age and an Australian citizen, you can fill out the enrolment form. What will happen is on your 18th birthday, they will directly enroll you for voting. Now let's have a look at how you can enroll to vote. There are two ways in which you can enroll. One is you can enroll online with an online application form, or you can choose to do a paper-based application, which is you can download a PDF from the website, or you can choose to go to the Australian Electoral Commission office and get a form from there. Let's have a look at enrolling online. You will be able to enroll online by visiting the Australian Electoral Commission website. I've provided the link for you in the description below. Once you're on the website, you can select Start Enrolment. The next page will give you a little bit of a brief about what documents you need before you begin. Have a read through and then click Next. It will then ask you for the reason you're enrolling. The same form can be used to enroll as a new enrollment, so enroll to vote for the first time, or if your details have changed, then you can use the same form as well. We're having a look at enrolling for the first time, so let's select that. You can leave the AEC correspondence blank and then click Next. It will then ask you for the state and territory that you're enrolling from, so just select the state and territory that you're in. I was in Victoria, so I selected Victoria. Scroll down and click Next. It will then ask you a little bit about how you got Australian citizenship. So if you are a citizen by birth, then select yes. If you're not, then select no. If you select no, then it will ask you, have you been granted your Australian citizenship? For that, select yes. Once you've selected yes, it will ask you for your country of birth and your citizenship number. If you don't know your citizenship number, you can leave it blank. And then given names on your citizenship certificate and the family name on your citizenship certificate. If you have selected that you are an Australian citizen by birth, then it will ask you for the town of birth and the state of birth. In both cases, on the next page, it will ask you for your evidence documents. You can either provide your Australian driver's license, your Australian passport, your Medicare card, or your citizenship certificate. Whichever identity document you've selected, you will then need to provide the number of that identity document next. Once you've done, then click on Next. This section will ask to provide your personal details like your full name, your date of birth, and your gender. Click Next once you're done, and then you will be provided with a contact details page. Fill in your contact details and click Next. It will then ask you for your current residential address. You can start entering your address and it will give you a drop down to select from. You will need to provide an Australian address. You cannot provide an overseas address. Once you're done, click Next and it will take you to the review page where you can review your application. Once you're done, on the next page you will see a declaration. Read through it and then if you understand, check box. It will then ask you for your signature. It is important to have your signature to complete your enrollment. You can choose to do the signature electronically. Signing your form electronically is quite easy. Once you've selected Sign My Form electronically, a box will appear beneath it. Just take your cursor there and then scribble in your signature. If you have made a mistake, you've got a little clear box here. You can clear it and then start again. Once you're happy with your signature, you can proceed to fill out your form. At this stage, if you decide to not sign your form electronically, you can also choose to print the form out and sign it manually. How to submit that, we'll see it later in the video. And then provide a reason for why you submitted this form. In my case, I just selected other and then typed in citizenship. Once you're done, click submit. On the next page, it will give you a reference number. Keep that handy. I am slowly building this channel to help people just like you. So if you do like my content and want to see more of these helpful videos, consider subscribing to the channel. And that's it. You have now submitted your enrollment online. Now let's have a look at filling out either a PDF or a physical enrollment form. You will find this form on the AEC website. I've provided the link for it in the description below for you. If you're filling out a PDF form, make sure to select the form that is relevant for your state. In my case, it was Victoria, so I selected Victoria. If you don't want to do a PDF form, you can walk into an AEC office and pick up a form from there. The The form is very similar to the online form. It will ask you for your name, your date of birth, your residential address, your contact details, your citizenship status, and then it will also ask you for the evidence of your citizenship, evidence of your identity, which is obviously your identity documents like your Australian driver's license, your passport, or your Medicare. Once you're done, print out the form and then sign it. You can now either submit this form via post, you can fax it, or you can submit it in person to any AEC office. You can also decide to upload a scanned copy of your signed form. If you have done an online application, you can check the status of your application online. Visit the AEC website and check application status. When you did submit your online application form, it would have given you a receipt number. Put in that receipt number, just say what your status is. In my case, when I did submit my form, I actually got a call from one of the AEC officers, and this was to confirm my citizenship status, the date of my citizenship, and then they gave me information about where the closest voting center is and what ward I come into. Once the call was done, she told me that they would be processing my application and I should be enrolled in. On the day of voting, you will be casting your vote at one of the polling centers. Given that voting is mandatory in Australia, they have given you a couple of options if you can't get to the polling center on the day of voting. If you're not going to be available on the voting day, you can go to one of the early polling centers. Information about the available polling centers near you can be found on the AEC website. Let's just say that it is a federal election or a referendum period and you're overseas in that span, then you may be able to vote at an overseas voting center, or you can post in your vote. To be considered for postal voting, you will need to fill out a postal voting application form. Once an election has been announced, the postal application form should open up. There are a couple of requirements to be eligible for postal vote. Have a read through them just right here. I will provide the link to the fact sheet about postal voting in the description below. If on the polling day you are interstate or outside the territory in which you have been enrolled to vote, then you will need to vote at an interstate voting center. So given that voting is mandatory in Australia, they have given you quite a few options on how you can cast your vote to avoid the fine that may come if you haven't voted. Remember though, if your residential address changes, make sure to update your details using the same form. You now know how to enroll to vote in Australia, and you also know how to update your details. If you want to find out how to apply for your Australian passport, check out the next video. If you found this video useful, then make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more such helpful content.